The focus shifts to Central Michigan this week, a trip to Mount Pleasant serving as the final non-conference test of the season. A great opportunity to gain momentum heading into FAU and Shula Bowl week right after that. Thanks so much for joining us on FIU Panther Talk. Butch Davis, AJ Ricketts. Coach, let's recap Texas Tech. Your team went blow for blow, punch for punch in that first quarter, taking a 7-0 lead, a big explosive play, tying the game up at 14. How did you feel the team executed in that first quarter, and maybe where did it start to get away?
Yeah, well, AJ, obviously, I mean, when you play somebody that's a really good football team, and I think everybody on the team knew that Texas Tech was a good team, good defense, good offense, they had explosive guys on special teams, and you have to execute, and we got off to a good start. Drove the ball down, scored a touchdown, took a 7-0 lead, and, you know, all those kinds of things like that have got to continue to do it. You cannot have negative plays. You can't have penalties, things that take away explosive plays. You can't go out and bust a coverage and give them big plays. We had an opportunity, obviously, with a fumbled punt by them that gave us great field position that we could have driven down, maybe take a 14-0 lead, maybe a 10-0 lead. When you miss a field goal, and all those little bitty opportunities, you can't take advantage of those kinds of things. And so obviously, you know, when the film is over with in the game and you look at it, there's things that we can fix and we can get better. There's things that we have to get better at. Obviously, one of the things that we didn't do a very good job of was we didn't run the ball very effectively. And for us, that's a big part of our offense is the ability to run the football. And because then that sets up all the play action passes and all the things where we've gotten explosive big plays, you know, and we've just got to get that better. We've got to do a better job. I've got to do a better job as a coach, and everybody's got to get our players to execute and do the best they can.
There have been a number of bright spots throughout the first 3 games of the season, though. One of those I want to ask you about is Tyrese Chambers, our wide receiver, who transferred in from an FCS program in Sacred Heart. And Coach, he's quickly proven himself through the first 3 games, had some big catches at Texas Tech as well. How has he been able to make that transition in your mind? What does he offer?
I mean, obviously coming in here, he doesn't have the background, but obviously with a brand new offense and the new schemes and stuff like that, so he's kind of the same as everybody else. But he's got explosiveness. He's got good hands. He's got speed. He can run good routes and get open. And you know, through the first 3 games, he's showed some explosive big plays. And so he is one of the positive things that's kind of happened offensively.
An important play early in that first half was E.J. Wilson's scamper to the end zone. Here's our analyst Patrick Murray with more about how that play developed.
Early in the season, FIU's offense has shown the ability to generate explosive plays. The Panthers have racked up 4 plays of 50-plus yards in 3 games that leads Conference USA, including the 69-yard touchdown catch by running back E.J. Wilson Jr. against Texas Tech. Let's dive in and take a closer look at how that play happened. FIU is running a play called Mesh, a very popular passing concept around football. The center of the play is a pair of shallow crossing routes going over the middle of the field designed to create a natural pick on those defenders. And there are a number of different routes that you can pair with this concept, including what FIU does here with a sit or spot route over the middle and a wheel route up the sideline from the running back, in this case, E.J. Wilson Jr. Now let's look at what Texas Tech is doing on defense. The Red Raiders are being very aggressive. They're going to bring a 6-man blitz, and then on the outside, they're playing man-to-man coverage all across the board in the secondary, plus they have 1 deep safety back to defend the middle of the field. Now, because Texas Tech is bringing this 6-man pressure, they're expecting FIU to respond with a 6-man protection. But that's not the case. That's not what happens. FIU has a 5-man protection called, which means now you're going to have E.J. Wilson Jr. unaccounted for by Texas Tech. No one's covering him. And the key to this play is quarterback Max Bortenschlager. He does a good job of knowing his protection. Bortenschlager knows that FIU has a 5-man protection called, and so he knows that if Texas Tech brings 6, then he is responsible for that extra guy. He has to throw hot and get the ball out quickly. So a good job by Bortenschlager at the snap, recognizing that Texas Tech is bringing a 6-man blitz. He's got to throw hot, get the ball out quick, whips his head around, sees E.J. Wilson Jr. wide open, puts it on him, and then a nice move by E.J. in the open field to beat the safety, and he has the speed to finish the run, 69 yards, the longest play of the season for the Panthers. Wilson Jr. is one of 5 very talented FIU running backs that have played this season. 3 of them have scored a touchdown in 3 games.
All right, thanks, Patrick. A fun play, 69 yards to the end zone from E.J. Wilson or Eric Wilson. Take your pick. I was telling analysts in the booth that game, it seems like every time he's touched the ball in his 2 years here, it's been an explosive play. He had the touchdown return, a kickoff return for a touchdown at Western Kentucky last year. When he got in the fourth quarter against Long Island, he quickly racked up 50 yards. It was the second leading rusher. Then, of course, the touchdown here. Some depth at that running back spot. That was a nice play.
Yeah, you know what? He's got really, really good football instincts. I mean, he's a good natural football player. He is explosive. He's got speed. He can catch the ball. Obviously, on kickoff return, you don't put somebody back there that doesn't have great ability. He does a great job, catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, obviously, this play, you can see he could run away from everybody. Nobody from Texas Tech was able to catch him and run him down. And that was one of the highlights of offensively as the game went on, was to be able to get some big plays. But, to be honest with you, we break it down every single time a game is over with, and we look at all 3 phases. How did we play offensively, and did we take advantage of things? And there were some field positions that we did not get great advantage out of, where we had the ball at or near the 50-yard line. You got to be able to drive down, either score touchdowns or field goals. On defense, when you do look at the defense, how many times, and this is, I don't think I've ever heard of this before, of a team, we've played 3 games, we haven't created one single turnover on defense, and that's something that you have to do. We've got to get some strips. We've got to get some interceptions. You can't just let them have 12, 13, 14 possessions and never turn it over, other than if you can force them to punt. One of the things that was a positive in the deal with special teams, we actually really did a very, very good job. Tommy Heatherly was outstanding. All his kickoffs were touchbacks. On his punts, he averaged 50 yards per punt. He punted way more times than you'd like to punt. The first one was 68 yards, which flipped the field when you're backed up, when you've got somebody like that. So there's some good, aspects from that as far as special teams that we got to kind of continue to grow on.
Absolutely. Yeah, Heatherly's been a bright spot so far this season. All right, Coach, let's preview Central Michigan as we look forward to Mount Pleasant this weekend. Former Florida head coach Jim McElwain has injected some life into that program after a 1-11 season a couple years ago. McElwain came in, turned it around, got him at 8-6, and took him to a bowl game. This season, Jacob Sermon, their primary quarterback, they played 2. Sermon's the primary guy, 561 yards. 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Coach, they've got a dynamic receiver in Ja'Cory Sullivan, 6'2", 215 pounds. He has a touchdown in every game. 4 touchdowns this season, including a big scamper against LSU. Coach, early in the film study, I know, but what does Central Michigan do well when they're moving the football?
Yeah, they're really, really good. The running back is excellent. I mean, they do a great job, like a lot of teams do. The RPOs, hand the ball off. If you don't have enough guys in the box, pull the ball out. And like you just talked about, the receivers down the field are really, really good. They give great slants, big individual routes on the backside. They hit home runs. They hit a lot of crossing routes. And so you really got to be fundamentally really sound as far as, if you're playing man-to-man, you got to be on your guy. If you're in zones, you got to be in the right area, because they will try to get you out of zones and create big gaps for big explosive plays.
So the team we mentioned went 8-6 last year, and Jim McElwain's come in there and done some good things. 3-3 last year during the abbreviated season. This will be a fun matchup. They have high expectations in the MAC moving forward this year. They've had some signs of life. The defensive player in the year and the MAC as well. What's important moving forward to get a win on the road this week? Never easy to go on the road.
We've got to quit beating ourselves from the standpoint of giving up explosive big plays on the defensive aspect of it. Offensively, we got to be able to move the ball when you get great field position, to be able to move it down, to put yourself in situations to score. Watching Central Michigan, watching them play against Missouri, and Missouri is a very, very good football team. They had a lot of sacks, they had a lot of tackles in the backfield, but you know what? Central Michigan was in that game all the way to the very end. I mean, they made some big plays against Missouri, and so that's a really good matchup for us to kind of take a look at and stuff. Obviously, the LSU game, it got way out of hand. They turned the ball over, and they gave up a lot of touchdowns to the LSU defense early in the ball game. So that was a little bit tough, but they're a very, very good, fundamentally sound. Their offensive line is big, and they're physical, and they do a really good job of creating gaps for the running back, and they got the explosive plays with the quarterback.
Yeah, Death Valley, never an easy place to play, but you mentioned the Mizzou game. In the fourth quarter, on the road at Mizzou, It was 24-21. It was only a 3-point game, so a great challenge this week as we look forward to Central Michigan, Shula Bowl next week, but the focus right now on the Chippewas. Coach, we're looking forward to it. Thanks for the time, as always.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
AJ.
All right, more after
Appreciate
this when we come back.
Hello, I'm the Good Greek Spiro, and I have some very exciting news. Good Greek Moving and Storage is launching our Welcome Home program. Book your next move with Good Greek and you will receive our housewarming package, which includes gift cards valued at over $1,000, along with a neighborhood guide as you discover your new favorite local businesses. For the best move ever and to receive your exclusive gift offer, visit goodgreek.com and welcome home.
Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
FIU is one of the best programs in the conference. It's a program that's established itself as being the standard in Conference USA. And tonight, in our first season being together, young players, returning players, new coaches, new staff members, we drew with a team that has been ahead of the game. And it's been 6-7 years since FIU has been able to go toe-to-toe with FAU. And they did it tonight. We had 4 corners at the last minute. Both teams were terrific. Coach Baker does a tremendous job with his team. But over the last couple of matches, regardless of the results, anyone who's been watching this team, anyone who knows anything about football understands that this team is ahead of schedule. Every competitor wants to win, but the question is also, how do you define winning? This program has gone years without understanding what winning means, and to be able to shift that level of that type of culture, to shift that mindset, it takes time and purpose. And right now, the players are demonstrating that they really believe in the purpose of what we're doing. We have some very young players who are finding their feet, and the most important thing is that they're starting to understand that they belong here and that they were brought here for a reason. And Noemi exemplifies that. Noemi is a serious footballer. She comes from a great background. She's what you would consider a quiet competitor in terms of her voice, but the way she plays, the way she competes, it speaks volumes. This team is ahead of schedule. They're ahead of schedule, and it's because of their energy, it's because of their professionalism. It's the way that we've been coming together these last couple of weeks, to come together even amidst a lot of adversity in terms of the results and frustrations, and so many young players experiencing this for the first time. The way that this team is coming together is, I couldn't be prouder. And I believe the university is proud, and I think the community should be proud as well.
I'm very proud of the boys. Anytime you put keep a clean sheet, I'm extremely proud. And then for us to be able to score 6 goals tonight and have 5 different goal scorers and guys in the back line and up front get goals, very happy. Our message for the last couple of days was, look, we got a tight turnaround, but it's all about a response, man. It's all about a response. Life is going to throw difficult things at you. Things won't go your way, but how do you respond? You have control of your behavior, so let's put it into practice, into training. We had a great training after our travel back from Bowling Green.
Again, it's not about individuals in the team, it's about the team effort, and we had something to prove after the loss. And I think we did a great job. Yeah, the free kick was not the best free kick, I think, but yeah, it was kind of a releaser to me to score finally my first goal with 2 assists, and yeah.
Julian had a great game today. You know, we needed him to play in a different position, and he said, "I'll do it. No problem, coach. I just want to win." And so we were very excited with his response and how he performed, scoring goals and getting assists in a position he doesn't play. So very happy and proud of him.
To lead the team is an honor. I think I have a little bit of experience, and to lead the younger guys, and the younger guys did a great job, and yeah, that's my responsibility as a captain.
We're going to continue to be excited for every game that comes about. UAB is next, and conference is very important to us, and tonight was a good morale boost and a good confidence builder. We're one of the top 4 conferences in the country. I don't care who you ask and what they say, top 4 conferences in the country. Conference USA, with West Virginia joining, Coastal Carolina in, Charlotte top 25, Kentucky top 25, Marshall winning a national championship, FIU in the top 25. Conference USA is a no-joke conference, and we're here to win it.